Hey everybody, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here. All right, let's get into it. Um, oh, I got the wrong one up. Okay, so X-Men 97, episode 7 and 8. So I watched 7 a couple days ago because I saw on Facebook I think it's Facebook or Twitter or one of the two, that there was kind of a big spoilery scene. And I was sitting there like, oh man, are you kidding me? So just remember, anything that goes on it's going to be spoilers. If you haven't watched it, you're gonna watch it here. You're gonna see pieces of it here. And the scene in episode 7 revolves around Rogue, and she meets up with Captain America, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe she disrespected Captain America." Blah blah. So the scene, episode 7 and 8, kind of had a lot of quick cameos. I don't know why Captain America is in episode 7. It's also been a couple days, so we'll just kind of get into it here. So they have the funeral for Gambit, and Kurt is given kind of the eulogy and whatnot, and which makes perfect sense. Kurt is ordained and all that, growing up in a monastery and all. So this is one of those things that really does fit with Nightcrawler's character. It was kind of nice to see that he got to use his upbringing for peaceful way here. And it kind of got you. And then Rogue wasn't there. And they're kind of upset about it, and she's touring the world. So she goes through, beats up the army to find Trask and Bolivar. Scott's talking to the hologram there. They go through looking at Genosha, helping out. The reporter chick, she kind of goes through and she's like, we're not all bad and all that. And she does her thing, tries to get rid of the camera crew, and Beast is not having it. He's just sitting there like, no. Too bad. I don't want to do anything to do with you. So Rogue finds the one area, and Captain America is there for whatever reason. She takes his shield and talks to him. She's like, oh, nothing's been here in a while. He says, whatever, but we can't help you. We got to do it by the book. She says, well, I don't need to do anything by the book. She gets up and tosses Cap's shield. That's it. That's the scene. Again, I don't know why Cap's there. I don't know why the scene is here. Other than just a cameo. It doesn't forward the story by any means. It's literally a cameo for cameo's sake. And that's the biggest problem. Like, all the cameos are cameos for cameo's sake. They don't add to the story. They're just here doing like, oh, member berries. So whatever. The X-Men go on helping Genosha. Find Trask. Madeline dies, or not Madeline dies. Sorry, Anna dies. Go on, Bolivar. I believe that's Bolivar. If I'm wrong on this, I apologize. They tell the kids' parents, and they're like, "Yeah, we know. That's cool." They're like, "Oh man, that's awesome that it's cool." And she's like, "Yep." So now we got to cover it up. And Jubilee gets all pissed off. Nightcrawler finds Rogue. You go through. Everybody's there for her. Trask gets killed. Morph and Wolverine. And everybody's kind of just partying a little bit. Find Bolivar, and he's about to jump off the balcony. They talk him down, and then Rogue grabs him, I should say, and then throws him. because he's responsible for all of this. He's the one responsible for all the metamolds and all that. Only to get up and big explosion, and it turns out he is and I might be getting the names mixed up. I might be getting Trask and Bolivar mixed up here, so this might be Trask. I apologize for that for all the people. Put it in the comments. Let me know how much of an idiot I am. Again, part of this is everything moves so fast. Moves so fast. Like, we got through all the junk, kind of, and now we're going through so fast in these storylines that it's hard to keep track of what happened. So he's a Sentinel. He's a living Sentinel. He's no longer just a robot. And he says there's others. And Nathan comes back. He's all pissed off at Dad. And even with Jean, he says, you're not her. He's softer towards Jean, but Jean's not her. And then we got Sinister talking to the new villain. Says, you used to be one of them. Says, yeah, but I'm not anymore. And then he shaves Magneto. And that's it. That's the end of episode 7. So, we advance the plot a bit. For the most part, it's like, the hate. The hate between everything. But then it just kind of stalls. And it's so weird. Everything, it's like, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. So then we go to 8. And starts off with Cable sitting there. And then they discuss what they're going to do. And again, this moves by so quick. Jean's, kind of has, they talk about the future and how everything kind of in flux. Madeline, and they keep going on. Finally agree to work together, even though Cable isn't happy about it. And then they see Xavier is going to marry Leandra. Then we go to, of course, Richie's parents and discuss more about all that. Rogue is still unconscious. Jean's trying to help her out. Kurt's there. I just watched this, and I barely remember any of this. It's unfortunate. And then, of course, we see our favorite senator in the uniform. And you're sitting there kind of going, what's going on here? Well, it turns out, of course, she's our new villain's mother. So the reporter comes back, and they're discussing... I believe this is Trask, so I'm just going to call him Trask from now on. Trask's status as a Sentinel. And they go to this person, our villain's childhood home, and find his grandmother, I'm assuming. And she says, it's funny because she says, my son. My son said you wouldn't be here until whatever. And we already know that's not her son. And Jean gets psychic echoes and realizes that a future Sentinel virus, came back in time, infected his dad, Nimrod, and then created him. And of course, that's his mother. So we find out that's his mother. Magneto is still tied up. They're discussing, the villains, of course, are discussing their plans for it all and how this is all going to work. And they're creating new Sentinels with this tech. And this is the final vision, all the Sentinels with Master Mold. Jubilee's trying on new outfits, because why not? Beast is trying to find all the Sentinels, and the reporter asks, she's like, well, do they know they're Sentinels? And he goes, no. And of course, yeah, the butler turned into a Sentinel as well. And so she turns into a Sentinel. Which I gotta say, that was a good swerve for me. I thought she was going to be a mutant. Turns out she's a Sentinel. Of course, they fight the Sentinels. You know, she turns into a Sentinel, and they get away in the Blackbird. Beast gets, you know, everybody's kind of getting their butts handed to them. Everybody's being attacked, so it's a lot of switching back and forth between all this stuff. And Wolverine and Nightcrawler have one of the best fights I've ever seen. So I will give credit where it's due. This is an awesome scene. Wolverine, you know, it's like, oh, what reason do you have to fight against us? And Wolverine goes, I got 6 reasons. And Kurt shows up. He's got 3 swords, you know, one in each hand and one in his tail. And he's like, we've got 9. And it's interesting again. So this doesn't quite fit Nightcrawler's original X-Men cartoon character. He was mostly defense. He pretty much just tried to get away from things. He tried not to fight as much as possible. And even when he did fight, he tried to be as aggressive as little as possible. He tried not to aggress too much. So this is kind of an interesting take. In the comics, I don't know if this is how he acts or not, so I can't really say. But of course, the Sentinels keep repairing themselves. They keep coming back and coming back. So Kurt takes everyone out of there, gets them out of the away from Rogue. Jubilee has a great line. She's like, "Man, everybody can fly but me," and of course, her boyfriend there is flying too. She's like, "Man, not you too." He's like, "I've been practicing." So it was pretty good. They destroy the Blackbird. There's a cute little couple cute little family moments, Summer's family moments here, and they get away in the car from the Blackbird, and Cable's sitting there like, "You got a Porsche?" And Scott's like, "Yeah." They go through, try and do what they can. You know, again, Jean controlling the car, blasting through, Scott blasting through, Cable blasting through, everybody's blasting through. This is kind of one of the more annoying ones. So Jubilee and Richie get back to his family's gala, and the Sentinels say, "Oh, well, we're here to save mutants." So his family tells him to do as they say. Tells Richie and Jubilee to do as they say. Of course, we got our new guy in control of everything. And he's called by Sinister because his mom let Magneto go. He says, "Oh, well, no big deal. We've already enacted the plan." And holds her hostage. And she says, "You know, Magneto understood it. Magneto understood everybody. He knew this was coming. So the plans have already been set in motion." And he says, "What do you mean?" And we see Magneto travel through. And of course, the little fights from everybody. And Magneto goes to the North Pole and uses the pole to amplify his powers and create a giant EMP across the entire globe. And we get, the little cameos again. The little cameos. Spider-Man. I think that's Ronan. I can't remember his name right offhand, but we all know him. And of course, all the Sentinels fall from the sky. And Wolverine goes, "I can't believe it." It's like, "What? They stopped them all?" He goes, "No. Magneto declared war." Now, again, this is kind of out of character for Wolverine. Wolverine has been one of the people, he's firmly against Magneto. He's firmly against Magneto, but he's not against Magneto's ideals. That's the interesting thing about Wolverine. Wolverine's conflicted. He's kind of got he's got to get that dual personality thing because he's a fighter. He's a survivor. So for him to say this, it's kind of a little out of character. It's something you would expect from almost literally any other X-Men. But I mean, it wasn't a bad thing by any means, but it's just kind of out of character for Wolverine on this one. And he goes, "Where's Xavier when you need him?" And of course, what happens? But a Shi'ar ship crashes, and there's Xavier. And Wolverine goes, does his thing, and he goes, "To me, my X-Men." And that's the end of it. So I'm not entirely sure if this is a season-ending cliffhanger. I think it is. But again, there's so much there's so much left in the air. There's so much not resolved. So I mean, the kind of the downside is it comes full circle. Now it comes back to the original show. So Magneto and his side versus Xavier and his side, which, of course that's what X-Men is about, and I don't have a specific problem with that. But when you started the story and Magneto taking over and all that, it would have been much more different if they had kept Magneto not on that side. So now we're just kind of, I'm assuming we're kind of go back to the well. I'm pretty sure they've got season 2 already ordered, because that's kind of the thing with these, with animation these days is if you're ordering 1, you're ordering 2. Especially if you're only doing 8 episodes a season. So again, too much, too fast. There's just no telling the story over a period of time. It's so much. So, because he gets, you see the pictures of Storm and all that. So, the question kind of becomes like, will we see an expanded cast of characters fighting in season 2? It's interesting that they got Spider-Man in this, though. It is interesting that they got that, because animated Spider-Man I thought was wholly owned by Sony. So that's interesting. But then again, they never actually mentioned his name, and he never spoke. So they could get away with it from that point of view, because they never said Spider-Man, and they never had an actor voice him. So just having the quick cameo might be okay. I don't know how that all works. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, I'm not entirely sure if this is the end of this season. So if it is, I'm kind of disappointed, because nothing gets resolved. Not even a little bit. The only thing we're kind of even sure is that Gambit is dead. Rogue is still unconscious. Storm's storyline is still up in the air. What she's done. I mean, she's back to being Storm, but that's it. She hasn't shown back up since Genosha. Jean seems to be weaker than she's ever been, which is weird. We don't know anything about the Summers family. Are they okay with each other now? Are they not okay with each other now? So, but just from the way it looks, it's Magneto and his side versus the X-Men, and Xavier and his side. Which is what the end of X-Men was supposed to be. It was supposed to be the opposite. So the way the story started out, that's the way this story was supposed to go. So again, I'm if it doesn't continue on for the rest of the season, then I'm a little disappointed in season 1. I mean, overall, I'd give it a solid 7, maybe 7.5. What prevents it from going any higher is those first 4 episodes were boring. Like I said, there was no stakes, so it didn't really start getting good till episode 4 or 5. And then everything is just too quick. everything, and that's throughout the entire season. Everything is so fast that it doesn't, it doesn't feel like you're telling the story as well as it could be told. And then, of course, everything is all chopped up in between time. So that's my thoughts on X-Men 97 season 1, or season 1 so far. Again, we'll see next week if they drop another episode or not. I think this is the end. I keep saying that, and I apologize. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you think it was good? Did you think it was great? I see people saying this is the most amazing thing ever, but of course, the problem is anytime you deal with Disney, you always have people saying it's the most amazing thing ever, even if it is complete and total trash, and you never know what's real and what's not. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed my recaps so far, and of course, whatever the next one, if it's in a week or two, I'll see you in a week or two with more of this. If it's whenever the next season drops, either later this year or next year, then I will continue it then. But in the meantime, again, as always, I appreciate you guys watching. Comment, like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff, and I will see you next time. Bye.